Hi, Mark. How's it going today?
Hey, doing good.
Good. Great to see you. How's everything been with you lately?
Everything's going good. No complaints.
Good, good. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I certainly appreciate it. When you told me that you wanted to get together to talk, and I had a little time on my schedule, I thought, hey, fantastic opportunity to get to see how everything's going.
Okay, good. I'm
Good, good,
glad you could meet.
good.
Definitely.
Excuse me. I'm just curious, what do you want to get from today's session?
Just a little bit of insight on dealing with some people that may not be able making their performance metrics.
Oh, okay.
And ways of helping them get to meet their metrics, and me coaching them, I guess,
All
to
right.
do that.
So, what do you want to do about that? What things have you put in place, or have you thought about in regards to helping your coworkers meet their metrics?
Um, so I've actually gone through the process of showing them exactly how to do the job,
Oh, okay.
and giving them feedback on some calls that I listened to where there were some opportunities that they could have took advantage of, but they didn't quite do that.
Oh, all right.
And I guess I got to follow up with them to see if I can help them increase their metrics.
All right. Well, did you establish short-term and long-term goals for your team? I'm assuming you're referring to your team.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Have you established short and long-term goals for them?
Yeah, definitely. Mostly short-term goals,
Mhm.
because all of the numbers are given to us on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And then we've talked about the yearly goals as well, because they do judge, they are graded on year-to-date performance as well, and some
Oh,
other metrics. So more short-term, but both actually.
oh, okay. How large is your staff?
Um, 15.
And how
15.
long have you managed a staff of that size?
Probably about a year,
About a year.
almost a year.
And what do you generally do, or what have you put in place previously to measure metrics?
Um,
And what seems to have worked for you?
I guess being consistent. Going over, just being consistent and going over the details, going over the calls,
Mm-hmm.
their interaction that they're having with the customers
Oh, okay.
on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Not letting something that I hear go unresolved or unattended to. So just being consistent is probably the number one key
Mm-hmm.
to when we were being a high performing team earlier this year. So maybe not being that consistent has caused a drop in the numbers.
Hmm. You mentioned a high performing team. So how does that look to you in terms of the environment that you find yourself in now? What's a high performing team at your in your environment?
High performing team is when what we say is no one's left behind.
Hmm.
So the
Okay.
whole team is performing well. Not just you don't have just one or two all stars,
Mm-hmm.
but as a collective group, everybody's performing well. Everybody's meeting their scorecard, their metrics, and as a team, the atmosphere when that happens,
Mm-hmm.
the atmosphere is positive. People want to come to work to do the job, and you get results.
Hmm. Okay. So how, in terms of the scorecard,
Hmm.
uh, is that the sole basis for how your employees are rated, or are they graded solely on your ability to score high on the scorecard?
Yes, definitely. So the scorecard is broken down into different components. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll have your sales metrics, which will be broken down into the different units that you sell, maybe television, maybe internet, cell phones.
Hmm. Okay.
Then you'll also have your customer service metric, and how well you deal with the customers, how well do you take care of the issues, and then the last metric would be the amount of time that it takes you to do both of those first two metrics.
All right.
So the average handle time is key as well. So they pull the percentages from all of those into the scorecard, and that's how they're judged or graded
Mm-hmm.
on their performance on a monthly basis as well as a yearly basis.
Hmm. Okay. That's interesting. So you have the scorecard, and it, are there any factors that influence that other than how much a person sells?
Yeah, I mean, attitude.
Hmm. Okay.
Because the customer service is a big deal. So, customer service side, that's 35% of your scorecard. So,
Oh, it's 35%. Oh, that is relatively high.
So it's not just the sales part, but with that being 35%, then yeah, your attitude goes into play, your tone when you're talking to customers, your ability to resolve the issue when they call in.
Yes.
And being accountable, showing empathy when you need to, when the customer is venting.
Right. That's definitely.
So that plays a big part. So yeah, definitely, it's a lot more than just the sales aspect.
So are you graded by your managers or your superiors? Are you graded on a scorecard basis as well?
Yes. So yeah, definitely, I'm graded on my reps production as well. So every 6 months, every 6 months I meet with my manager and go over my scorecard in relation to my team. So right now, because of I guess like I was mentioning, the lack of consistency lately, those numbers have dropped. So I'm trying to find a way to get those metrics back up.
Why do you think they've dropped recently?
Don't know. We had a couple of people take a leave of absence. A couple of our good solid performers, and that which is causing the rest of the team to pick up the slack. And some of those guys aren't actually able to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think they can do it, and I guess I got to find out a way to help them get there. So that's the issue right now.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me into my next question. In terms of helping them get there, what does that look like? How would you help them get to where they need to go, particularly when picking up the slack when you have team members that are not there?
That's a good question. That's what I'm trying to work on.
Yes. What types of things have you worked on in terms of developing the skills of your staff to kind of meet the needs of your customers, even when you have some staff members that are not present?
Well, I mean, I pulled them in the office, and I tried to find out what motivates them.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Because the two that left, the lead, money motivates them. That's why that's their motivation. So pull them in the office, find out what their goals are, what motivates them. Money wasn't necessarily the key factor.
Yes.
One gentleman just told me he just wants to take care of his family.
Okay, I can understand that.
Right, so it's not necessarily getting the bonuses or anything like that. He just wants to get the check, take care of his family. He's okay with that.
Okay.
Another rep, she's actually trying to buy a new car. So.
Oh, right.
With that being said, I'm using those goals that they've given me to motivate them to get to where they're trying to go and try to push them a little higher. So I actually we have a scorecard on the Excel sheet, and I started plugging in numbers, just letting them know, okay, so if you get this particular amount of TVs for the month, this is the amount of money you can make to get to get that car you're trying to buy.
Oh.
Or you can the extra funds that you can use to maybe take your family out to the movies or something like that. So
that's good.
That's how I'm trying to motivate them and try to help me pick up the slack.
That's a good motivator. Money's always a good motivator.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, for the employees that you have that are not money motivated, how do you motivate them?
Well, other things, trips, prizes. The top seller in the office can win a trip to the Bahamas.
Okay,
so
that's pretty impressive.
Impressive. I mean, who wouldn't want a free trip to the Bahamas?
Yes, exactly.
Everything paid for.
But that still seems somewhat motivated by finances to a certain extent, because a trip is almost just an added bonus, but it's still along the lines of something that you're actually giving them. Do you have other ways of motivating staff that may not be tied to winning something or increased pay? Because quite frankly, some people are highly motivated and highly driven by money.
Right.
But there are others who may be the exact opposite. They may be driven by some other factors. Do you have any employees like that?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple that are actually just trying to move up in the company, promotion. So,
okay.
Yeah, they're trying to get promoted, maybe even go to a different segment of the company.
Okay.
and take on some leadership positions there. So that's yeah, 2 or 3 people on the team
Two or three.
have told me that. So
Okay.
that's another route that I'm taking to keep them motivated, so they can seek out those positions.
So how do you help them get to the next level? Because that, if I'm hearing you correctly, they're interested in moving up in the company.
Right.
So what steps are you taking to ensure that that happens, and how are you helping them move forward?
Well, in order to do that, you first have to meet your scorecard.
Okay.
You definitely want to do that, and by doing that, you'll get noticed.
Yes.
By being at the top of your field, then of course they're going to pick from the top of the crop. So if you're at the top, then it'll help your chances of getting moved up and getting noticed within the company. So that's how I've been doing that.
Is it relatively easy to move up? Do you have to be recommended? Say, for instance, if you have maybe, say, 3 equally qualified employees, does your recommendation play a big role in who moves up or who doesn't?
Absolutely, yeah.
And how do you choose which one of your employees has that opportunity?
I guess the one that's been more consistent, or the person that's shown the most growth.
Okay.
The one that's the most ambitious, that showed leadership, on time every day.
Yes.
Don't have to worry about them giving a customer something that the customer didn't want.
Okay.
No sales integrity issues.
Right.
Nothing like that. Just a clean file, good spirit, and that's how I would base it on that. So
that's good. So you mentioned that you wanted to put a plan together to motivate or continue to motivate the staff. What does that plan look like? Have you developed something concrete? Is it written? Is it more mental? Is it something you've thought about, or is it something more concrete? Or
it's still something in progress. Still putting something together.
Okay.
I guess that's why I wanted to come see, because I'm trying to work on getting that done. So that way I can get the team back focused. But I definitely need something in place that I can use to help get the team back to where we need to be.
So if you put yourself in your employee's position,
okay,
and your manager was looking for a way to motivate you, then what would you expect that manager to do?
Me, I was the type that I wanted to be at the top, at least the top 3 in the office.
Yes.
So
that's good.
I was working to get extra. If you're offering extra incentives for reaching the goal, I want to get that extra incentive. If you're offering a trip, I want to compete for that trip. So I was more motivated by that. It could be the revenue, the extra revenue, the money, but that was my motivation. But what I'm learning, being in a leadership position as a coach this last year, like we mentioned earlier, everybody's not motivated by that.
Yes, correct.
So I guess that's what I'm learning. I need to learn how to use other techniques to motivate reps to get to their goal of being above satisfactory level on their scorecard.
Right. So if you and I worked on a plan together, say for instance, if you had to put together a plan, as we mentioned, how would you start? What factors would you look at in order to begin to put together a plan?
I guess the ultimate goals. We need to get the goals outlined first. What are we trying to accomplish?
Okay.
And you also need a time. How long is it going to take to accomplish it?
Yes.
And we also need to know how we're going to accomplish it. And
exactly.
So those would be the top 3 ways: is get the goals, the time, and the how.
Yes.
And then once we get that on paper, we can put the plan in motion, which will help us attain those goals that we came up with.
So what type of a timeline do you see you establishing this goal?
Well, with the fact that each month is so important,
okay,
I would say maybe 3 months at the most.
3 months.
it needs to be a turnaround at least within the next 3 months.
So what would happen if you weren't able to achieve those goals in 3 months? Or do you have, are there consequences internally, externally, or what exactly would happen if you, for some reason, weren't able to meet those goals in 3 months?
Probably wouldn't be any consequences within, the higher ups, my manager.
Yes.
But I would feel disappointed because my team wouldn't be performing at a level that I know they could perform.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is maybe it might not be anything done at the 3 month mark, but if we keep performing at a low level past the 3 month mark, then at that point, later down the line, something could be done where if you're not doing the job, then at that point they will get somebody to do the job.
Right.
And
So
I don't want
there'll be additional consequences.
right later down the road, right? But I don't want to, have to come to that. I think if we implement the plan within the next 3 months and do everything that we're, put on the plan,
Yes.
I think it'll get done.
Well, who would be responsible other than yourself for helping to ensure that the plan is completed? Is it just you, or do you have assistant managers? Do you have additional staff that would help to implement the plan, or would it just be you?
Well, it would just be me. So that's real important because I would have to get the buy-in of my 15 reps. Well,
Right.
like I said, a couple are out now, but I would have to get them to buy into what I've put out forth in front of them in order to make it happen because there's nobody else.
Okay.
So
it's just you and your team.
And my team, right, exactly. And then my manager on top of that. So
Do you have team members right now that you think are willing to buy into the plan that you are going to put together?
absolutely, I do. But it's the other side of that I'm worried about because I got some that
Yes.
that I know might not necessarily buy it. It's just
You've already identified certain staff members.
right. Just the attitude, the way that they go about it on a daily basis,
Okay.
the body language. It's just the little things that I noticed that necessarily tells me that they may not want to be here.
Okay.
So I may need to find out what the issue is, take care of the issue to see if we can get them back on board on being successful here because we don't want to have to get rid of anybody.
Right.
I want everybody to be successful, but I also need everybody to put 100% into what they're doing as well.
Is it relatively easy, or is it more difficult to get buy-in of those people that are already kind of on the outside of the plan? Because it seems like you've already identified those people. Do you think that it'll be easy or difficult?
It's not going to be easy.
Okay.
Because the first thing we have to build is trust, and that's where the breakdown is at.
Oh.
For years in the office is a trust breakdown between the reps and management.
Yes.
Just
It's a constant riff, or is this something that's relatively new?
constant. It's a constant riff. It's just because in the office it's a high turnover job, so a lot of people see their friends come and go. And then that'll change the attitude of certain reps. They don't trust the managers as well. So it just makes it tough because once we get that trust connection, then it'll make it easier for them to buy into what I'm trying to get them to do in regards to being successful and meeting their scorecard.
No, that's good. So how would you go about building trust on a team?
Doing what I say I'm gonna do. If I make
keeping your word.
right.
Yeah.
If I go to them and they want me to do something, making a commitment to a particular representative, completing that commitment, and doing it in a timely fashion, just practicing what I preach. Leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
If I want them to be here on time, I definitely got to be on time. I'm
Yes.
just going the extra mile and showing them that I really do care about their production and their success here at the job.
Good. So what do you see as your main obstacles once you put a plan in place? What are your main obstacles that you think you may encounter?
I guess the day in, day out mental drain that the job can have on people. because since it is a sales customer service environment, you know, every day is not going to be a good day.
Right.
So just trying to get over those humps and motivate when you do have a bad day. You know, how to come back the next day and go right back at it even harder to make up for the lack of the sales you had the previous day.
Right.
That's probably the biggest hurdle. And again, just overcoming the trust barrier between the reps and the managers. That would play a key role as well.
So it seems that the first thing that you would probably have to deal with would be the trust issue, even before you get to the point of putting together a plan for a corrective action for moving the team forward in terms of improving the scorecard.
Right. Okay.
So trust will be the first issue that you probably have to deal with, and then move forward towards putting together some type of a plan.
I agree.
So what support do you think you would need to do both of those?
Maybe, you know, some guidance or some insight into other ways of pulling the team together.
Okay.
Maybe I can come to you maybe a month from 1 month from now,
Okay.
just to show you the metrics that and compare the metrics from last month to this month to see if we're headed in the right direction, and then maybe you may see something that I don't see. So you know, your input there would help as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can certainly set up additional times where we can get together like this and just try and discuss some options that you may have for getting the scorecards back on track, as well as developing trust. Now, I'd like to ask, would you be amenable, or would you accept a coaching challenge?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm
Okay.
up for challenges.
Great, great. Now, I would like to, since you said that you would like to meet again in, say, roughly a month.
Okay.
I would like, or would you be interested, and would you accept a challenge to put together a plan within 1 month to begin to gel the team more and to work on issues of trust that that you said that you have?
Definitely, because I mean, honestly, that would help me be successful as well as my team. So, yeah, I'm up for that.
Great. So we can meet again in, say, a month to discuss the trust issues, and shortly thereafter we can begin to put a plan together to improve your team's scorecard. Now, it's something that it will have to work in phases and work in terms of a solid timeline, but we can readjust it as we move on.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for coming.
Thank you.
I certainly appreciate it.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
see you again in a month.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.